Okay, in this video, we are going to look into the living processes in multicellular organisms and cell specialization. This is the cell organization, which starts with the basic unit of life, and that is the cell. A group of cells of the same type that perform a specific function in organisms make up the tissue. Several types of tissue that carry out a particular function, forming organ. Several organs work together to perform a specific function, and that is system. And all the systems make up a multicellular organism. This is an example of a system, skeletal system. So it starts with the muscle cells, which functions for contraction. It is involved in contraction. So a group of muscle cells will form muscle tissue. Muscle tissue with other connective tissues, for example bone, tendon, cartilage, they will work together to bend the arm. And all these organs that work together will make up the skeletal system, or we also call it as the musculoskeletal system, which enables movement and also for support. Okay, so these are the several types of human cells that has already undergone specialization to carry out different functions. Okay, for example, muscle cells able to contract and relax, enable movement. White blood cells is involved in defense mechanism in the body. Red blood cells is in transportation of oxygen. Nerve cells receives, transmits out nerve impulses. And sperm cell, which is present in male, is involved in reproduction and that it will fertilize the ovum. So in this section, you have to recognize the structure of the cell. For example, if you're given a picture like this, questions may ask you to state the function. Okay, for example, these red blood cells, white blood cells, the nerve cells, epithelial cells. Okay, let's look at the cell organization in plants. Okay, we are talking about the multicellular organisms right now. Parenchymal cells is involved in support and storage. Maybe you can use the term parent for you to remember that it is meant for support and storage. Xylem, transportation of water and dissolved mineral salts. Do not forget to mention this as well. Sieve tube element and companion cell. Both of these is related to the phloem, also in transport, but transporting organic substances. Epidermal cells is for protection and covering of other cells beneath. Okay, so this is the picture showing sieve tube element, which is like a tube, long cylindrical tubes arranged from end to end, transporting organic materials from where to where. Okay, since photosynthesis happens at the leaves, so it is from the leaves to other storage organs such as fruits or other parts of the plants. For xylem vessels, it is a long continuous hollow tube meant for transporting water and mineral salts. Since water and mineral salts is absorbed from bottom. That means it is from the roots to the other parts of the plant. There is another new term maybe for you right now, mesophyll. So palisade mesophyll cell. Palisade mesophyll cell is located right underneath the epidermis, epidermal cell of the cross-section of the leaf. Okay, and it is arranged vertically, closely packed one to another, which contains high chlorophyll density, and it is just beneath the upper epidermis. The purpose is to enable maximum absorption of sunlight for photosynthesis. Because we know, for example, this is where the sun is. So this place is very strategic for palisade mesophyll cell to sit here to be exposed directly to the sunlight. Okay, we have another mesophyll cell. Unlike palisade just now, it is called spongy. They are loosely arranged with lots of air spaces in between the cells. Unlike just now, there are no spaces. They are closely packed to one another. So, what do you think are these air spaces meant for? So, these cells would like to have all these large air spaces to allow exchange of gases from within the leaves to the mesophyll palisade cells. Exchange of gases. Gases for photosynthesis, gases for respiration. Okay, we also have guard cells and also root hair cells, which are actually the modified lower epidermal cells, okay, with different function. Have you heard of stoma before? Stoma. So this stoma is guarded by a pair of guard cells. Stoma is actually a tiny pore at the epidermal cell. So this guard cells is the one responsible to control the opening and closing of the stoma, and therefore allowing the exchange of gases in and out. Okay, for root hair cells, it is underneath over here. It is the modified lower epidermal cell as well, and has a long projection which adds surface area. Okay, increased surface area for the absorption of water and mineral salts. Now, okay, the cell organization in humans, we're now looking at the tissues. So in animals, there are 4 major types of tissues: epithelial, muscle, connective tissue, and nerve tissues. Okay, this is epithelial tissue. Okay, so in short, it is meant for protection and covering. If it is meant for protection and covering, so it forms a skin surface. Okay, here are various types of epithelial cells that is shown at different places with different structure that can be seen. Okay, this epithelial tissue covers the surface of the mouth and the esophagus. Here, the lung cavities, the body cavities, the lungs, the blood vessels, trachea and bronchus, kidney ducts, tubules, glands, as well as the smaller intestines. Okay, so epithelial cells is meant for protection and covering, And when they are at different parts of the body, you will see that the feature or the structure also changes to suit its function. Okay, let's look into the second type of tissue, and that is muscle tissue, which is the most abundant tissue, paling banyak in the body. So it is divided into these three: smooth muscle, and that is for involuntary body activities. Involuntary, unlike for skeletal, voluntary movement. Okay, if you're moving your legs and your hands, okay, that is skeletal muscles. But for those involuntary body activities, the examples are peristalsis along the digestive tract, for example. You did not realize this. Okay, even in the urinary tract, in the reproductive tract, you do not realize this. So it is involuntary body activities. Do you still remember the terms peristalsis, alternate, contraction, and relaxation of the muscles? The one in the esophagus, for example. Okay, we also have here cardiac muscles. Cardiac here refers to the heart. So it contracts to pump blood to all parts of the body. And also this type of movement is involuntary. Okay, it is found in the heart wall. Skeletal muscles. Look at the structure, identify how it looks like. Because sometimes they only show you they give you the picture and you have to realize, you have to identify their structure and be able to state their function. This is smooth muscles, tapered end like this, cardiac muscles with a lot of intercalated disc. So all three has distinctive features. They are all different and easy to identify. Okay, these are the functions of these three muscles. Okay, again, you look at the structure. Okay, very easy to differentiate these three structure. Okay, the third one, let's look at connective tissue. By the word itself, connect, it holds the body together. So examples of connective tissues, bones. Remember the first few slides, the example of the skeletal system. Bone is one of example of the connective tissues. Blood, cartilage, tendons, and ligament. You'll come across these terms later on when you go into the chapter of support and movement. Okay, connective tissue consists of various types of tissues and fibers. It is distributed all over the body, has many functions. Okay, mainly is to link or to connect the organs by the name itself. Okay, fat droplets, adipose tissues, blood. This is tissue, blood tissue. So in blood tissue, a lot of cells, white blood cells, platelets, red blood cells, even the plasma, cartilage, fibrous connective tissues, loose connective tissues, bones. Okay, you may need to be able to identify the structure by the picture itself. Okay, again, the functions. Cartilage encloses the bone tip. Okay, yang putih itu, yang rawan itu. Okay, to prevent bone from wearing out. Okay, connective tissues keep fat under the skin, dermis, and also the surface of all main organs. Kalau fibrous connective tissues forming tendons and ligaments. Okay, ligaments join bone to bone, tendons bone to muscles. Okay, the last one, the fourth one, is nerve tissue, which transmits and coordinates messages around the body. Nerve impulses, electrical signals. So it is made up of nerve cells, or also known as the neuron, which consists of the cell body. This is the cell body, and also the nerve fiber called the dendrite, and also the axon. Dendrite. So a lot of antenna to tell you that this is nerve tissues that is transmitting electrical signals or the nerve impulse. Okay.